1, 2, 2, 2. Okay. Looking to see. Wow, wow, everything is there. So, okay, let me see. What can I do? Can share the link. How do I even share the link? Okay, this is cool. Okay. Come on, I need it to be clear. Why is the quality? Oh, it's clear. Okay. Let me get the link. Okay, good. Let me see. 60 frames per second. I don't even know how to put this microphone here so that it's clear. Try this thing out. So I'm just doing my first live stream. Okay, I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. I don't know if I'm clear enough, but I just hope I am. That's it. Yeah, let me do like this. I can send to admin. Or probably let's send it here. Okay. Let me see how it looks. Let me see how it looks. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Let me copy this link and share it. Okay, I'm still setting up. Wow, this is taking. Okay, okay. 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 Like what? Is this clear? I don't know if it is clear, but wow. Okay, I think it is. I'm just trying this thing out. What I have to do? A stream bit rate of 2,500. Like I'm just okay. What I'll do, I'll just continue coding. So I'm here learning about this thing before I start coding. So I'm just going to find how I can do the thumbnail because I don't know how to do the thumbnail. So I don't know. Probably there is no way to do thumbnail. There is way to do thumbnail, but I don't know it. I don't know how to do thumbnail. In here, okay. So let me continue coding. So I'll just be telling you what I'm doing, and yeah, like that. So finally, I finished the. I like this my side pane open. So yes, finish this class object. Right now I need to work on the okay. So in case you don't know what this command line 2 is, this command line 2 is for PHP is to help those who want to use the ZAS the specification that is in the description. So that specification, you can read more about it, and it's this is gonna help you to make things quite easy, meaning when it comes to following the convention. Like I have the ZAS configuration. So for example, this give you your name conventions, and where these different files are saved. So you can have things like extensions. So maybe you want every class to have .class of PHP. By default, that's what I put here. And interfaces have .ifc, .php, etc. And the different directories. So these settings will be used by the command line tool to make different components of your application. So you don't have to come, doing everything and trying to follow the convention. Or you can just leave that to the tool. And I'm thinking that after it, when you deploy this application, you just write a command to tell the tool to make this thing production ready. So it will go ahead to remove itself. So probably it will clear itself from, you can see in classes we have the ZAS namespace. So it will remove itself from there, and probably we can add some stuff to it if you have any idea. I was thinking about maybe renaming every class to a random name. For example, instead of transpiler.class, we can have transpiler.prl.php, just for added security. And then also you can change, if you change the name in the configuration file, everything else will change. But right now, let's focus on making the thing work, because right now I'm able to create a class. And so currently, here's what I have. When you make a class, the class can implement interfaces, it can use traits, etc. And every class must have a namespace, or if there is no namespace, then it will be in the root folder. So every class are placed in supporters classes. And this is the current namespace I'm working with, ZAS. So that's why it's the only namespace in this class folder. And currently this is on what's the team name? Composer. So if I just say composer create project, and then you just say Levi's wanna slash ZAS env, then you give your project name, you are going to receive all of these. I'm still developing, so you are going to get only the ZAS API structure, but you won't get the command line tool, because I'm still working on that one for PHP. But the API structure can be used anywhere you want to use it. It's up to you. You just follow it. It's not anything big, like it's not a framework. It's just a specification how you should organize your files, for like organize them for security and maintainability, like that. So currently I've been able to finish the make class. So make class will create a class folder following the name you give it. That is, if you say you want to make, let's look at the current example here. So I'm calling the make class to make for me a class with this namespace, and the class name will be cluster. So you will see that this command line tool will create this folder, create this subfolder, and also create a class in this subfolder called worker. Everything here is in small case. And here is the parent class, so you will see extends parent class server, and these are interfaces. So this is the naming convention of an interface. And what I tried to do here was, you can see there is server/server interface and human/server interface. So now this thing will go ahead to give this thing an alias, because server interface and server interface have the same name, even though they have different namespace. So it will go ahead to give them an alias, and I used a binary search tree to find duplicate. And you can find that in the NSBST class, which is the namespace binary search tree, and this is how it looks. Okay, this is my IDE giving me error that I don't know why it's giving me that error. However, I'm just going to leave it like that. And then you can see here we are using abstract transpiler. So this is the transpiler class. There's a transpiler. Probably I'll get to this one later on. So this NSBSD has this node, and this is a namespace node. So it has left child, and then it has its namespace. Like what I'm doing here is giving the name, you save the different namespaces that have that particular name. So since we have, for example, in the ZAS folder, like in the ZAS, since we are having server interface, this name will be pushed into the binary tree, and then when we meet another server interface, it won't be pushed into the binary tree. What will be pushed into the binary tree is the different namespaces. And then with this, we can go ahead to we can go ahead now to actually uh, create different aliases. So that means, and the convention I'm using to create the alias, you can, if you see in the class object, for example, let me look at collision resolution. If you look here, what I'm doing is I am, let me just find that. I think that's in the, is it in the node class? Yep. So when you ask for the port, this port qualified usage naming container, this is what this PQ usage name, and you give us the container. Now we check if we have multiple namespaces for the same name, and if we do, we are going to give a prefix. And the prefix is the first letter of every namespace from the parent namespace. So if it is human slash server slash maybe XYZ, then slash blah 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 blah, the real name, then you are going to have those in small letters as the name, as the prefix, so that things become unique. However, there might still be collision. If you have any better idea, you can let me know, and probably I can look it up from there. So let me see, like let me show you. So PHP, we just do ZAS and ZAS.php. Let's see what we get. So you are going to see that we are going to create a class here. As you can see, we created a class in this classes folder, and it have the server, like the way we specify it in ZAS.php here. You can see that there is the server, then there is the worker, and there is the cluster. So you see the server class, the server folder, then there is the worker, the subdirectory, then there is the cluster, the class.php. Now this is following the convention that we specified in the ZAS configuration, that every class should have an extension .class.php. The same thing for an abstract class and for interfaces, etc. So if we have made this, we actually have the templates here. So if you check the dev folder, you'll see our class, our not abstract class, class.tpl. So this class.tpl now is the one that will be used by the ZAS command line tool to create these class folders. That's why we have this transpiler here that will take this TPL code and convert it into an actual PHP code. So let me now show you this is what we get. This is what we get. This one is an error that I don't know why the problem is on my VS Code, but on the other machine it's not like that. So you can see something here that I told you. Since we have server interface, we are going to give it an alias of S, meaning server, then server interface. This one is human, so it's going to be ish, then human interface, server interface. So now the developer doesn't have to struggle with this server interface or always use the full path to create a particular server interface. You can just go ahead to write S interface, blah 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 blah. And you can see also that we have the boilerplate, code that, like, the parent server. And also you should take note that this server didn't have a namespace, so it's actually in the root namespace. And since if you don't put a namespace, you will take the interpreter will take this particular stuff to be in the namespace of the particular class you are dealing with. We had to use the root, so to say that we are using root slash server. So this server is actually from the root, not from server slash worker. So and that's how it is. That's where we are at currently. So let me delete this, and so now you kind of have a brief, knowledge of where we are. So currently I'm working on this process method. So now this command line is running on the ZAS helper. So the ZAS helper is the code that actually makes the command line possible. So we have make interface and print help. Okay, so let's continue. I was here at this point, execute the make command. So when someone wants to make a class, we there is a command that they have to type, and we want to parse that command and then make the class for them. So I'm looking at the command that I have. So the command will tell me what to do. So this is the command. So make PHP ZAS make container. Then we have name, the name of the container, and options. So for us, in our case, we say, okay, this thing should have the ZAS helper open. I don't know why this error is here. Like, just why? There is something with my IntelliSense. Okay, probably I'll just look at it quickly. Intelli. PHP IntelliSense. Oh, I hope the debug is not. Let me disable this one. Let me disable this one. And the IntelliSense. Let me disable that one also. And let's reload. Let me see if it will still have the same error. Okay. Okay, seems like it was that particular thing that was causing the error. Ah, good. So now we're good. So we're going to be looking at the command in the command txt to finish this thing up. So yeah, given that this is the main command when we process argument argv, and this is the execute the make command, right? So we want to make a class. We already have the container name. Now we have to look for various options. So the different options so let's look at the different options from the command txt. I'm going to just dock this thing in one of the other windows so that I keep my eyes on it. Yeah, probably just put it here, and then we take it from there. This thing is still having the same error. Now I don't know. I'm going to disable some commands. And let me say something. PHP path. Okay. Okay. Wait, so it should be Control Shift P. PHP. No, I don't know how to. Let me see if I can get to the PHP path and work on that error because it misleads people. It mislead. Everything here is not responding properly. Settings. Let me see. And let me see if I can find path. So node path is there. Let me see. Okay. The path is all set up. What I'm going to do now is try to turn off some extensions and then return them on. I'm not supposed to be wasting time on this, but it confuses you. So let's do PHP IntelliFence. I don't know why they call this thing IntelliFence, but I'm just going to disable it for now. Then I'm going to enable it later on. So yeah, it is disabled. We want to enable it right after here. But before then, I want to be sure that this thing works first. If I still see the red line, then that means there might be one or two errors. Okay, now this one is not caused by PHP. There might be some other PHP things here that are causing the error. So I'm going to disable this extension bar. I'm just going to disable that one, and for this one I'll just uninstall it, and I think this one is the one causing the error. Let me disable this one. maybe it's not causing error. I'm still waiting to see if there will be that error of okay, still loading, still there. I exactly don't know why. Still don't know why, but anyway, we are going to find it. Water. Okay. No, I don't know why that error is there. So let me just go back and enable this. Which one should I enable? Let's enable that, and okay. Okay. Let me see, which one is this? Okay. I don't really use that one, so let me just leave it. So now I don't know why this thing is causing error. I don't know yet, but we'll find it as we go on. So let's look at the ZAS helper. So for the ZAS helper, this is where we're gonna write most of the code. So we want to make class. When we have the class name here, the container name is gonna be there. We're not returning anything. Let's return void. Okay. Now, so we want to see whenever we meet the -r command, everything that follows is an interface, and -p is the parent class, -t is the trait. So we're going to say interfaces. So we put all of them in an array, and then trait, or we can just put them in a single line. It's equal to t traits, and we can do this one for the parent class. Parent class is equal to probably an empty string, and yep. So we are going to look through every element in the add-v command, beginning from the third. So I'm just going to do a for loop for C++. Now we're beginning from the fourth. I is equal to 4, and I is less than IC, argument count. We do I++. So there are different pointers maybe we want to know the state. What is the best way I can do this? Like, so that if we are updating interfaces, we don't update traits. If we are updating parent class, we don't update any other thing. So what we can do, I can just put some boolean expressions here, like is parent, is interface, is trait. Good. So we can say is parent is equal to is interface is equal to is trait is equal to false. So if it is parent, we do this. I'm thinking, how can we reverse? Okay, should we reverse now? Do else if. Okay, now we have to update all of them. So when one of them is true, the remaining have to be false. So let's check if the first thing we met is a parent. So if, so let's say our current what? Current val is equal to add val, and we're going to say I, like that. Okay, let me I need more space. Good. Let me. Our current val. Okay, some of us don't code with music. So current value, we're going to say if the current value is equal to. Now I don't like to use this arbitrary, like maybe when it comes to constants, I don't like to use the actual letter. So probably I'm going to just do the SAS constant. So constants are placed in this class, and I'm going to look for, we want to see the dash r. So there is dash I dash t dash t. I'm sure there'll be a lot of dashes, so I'm just going to say dash 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 I. So if it is dash I, then it's dash I, we do that. But dash I is not found. So we have to create dash I in the dash constant class. So let's go there. So here we are. And I'm going to create another constant. So this one is going to be like okay, I don't know why it is going on multiple lines. So I'm gonna say constants, yeah. And I made that constructor private so that I don't find myself creating a method of the constants class. So constant let me put this thing dash I is equal to dash I, and dash p is equal to dash p, and then dash t is equal to dash t. This is just for maintainability issue, and so that I can reuse some constants later on. So that's it, and I'm going to close that one. So if it is dash r, then that means we are on current, like it's interface. So that is interface is equal to true, and we need to set every other thing to false. We need to set every other thing to false. Okay. So setting every other thing to false. I want to look for the best way to do it to take the short time, because I can say it's its parent is equal to a straight. Oh, this thing should be a straight, not its interface. It's interface. These are the errors that come out. It's straight. So yep. Now I'm supposed to say this is its interface. It's true. The others have to be false. Is there a short way I can do it? Okay. So I'm just going to take it like that. So its parent is equal to is straight, and it's equal to not its interface. So they are all false. And let's do this for the remaining two of them. So if our current value is dash p, if it is dash p, then its parent is true, its parent is true, and its straight is equal to its interface is equal to not its parent. So I'm just going to cut this guy from here, and it's equal to not, like that. And finally, current value. And also, whenever we meet these things like dash I dash p, they will just be the next command, so we don't have to waste time. So we just continue the loop. There'll be the next option. There'll be no other things we have to do down here. This is just setting like the state. Let me say it's just the state we are setting, the current state, or like what are we getting. Then we can continue. So if it's dash t, so we have dash r dash p dash t. If there's no dash t, then that means I've made another error in the ZAS constant. So let's go back there. So there is dash, not dast. Okay, good. So yeah, if it is dash t, then we know that it is straight. So if straight is true, and its interface is equal to its parent is equal to not is straight. And we continue from there. So we have set the state. Yeah, we have set the state. Is there any other thing we could do here? I'm thinking, because I don't like repeating lines of code, so maybe I could put this I could put this thing in a little function that takes three arguments: its parent, its street, its interface, and an index 0, 1, 2. Then sets all of them to false and only set the one of them to true, and continue. But that means we will have to check if if we return true, then our current value is within range. I'm still thinking. We can should we switch? We could switch current val, and I'm looking for the best way to format this thing. So let me see something. Maybe I could create a little function here, a little anonymous function, and we're going to say, we're going to call it set state, not set state, maybe set now the name. Maybe set current, or like set current, set, it's just state. I'm just gonna call it set state. This will be equal to a function that takes all of these parameters by, it's gonna take them by reference. So we're gonna have parent and street and its interface. Then we want to pass the index of the one that is true. So dollar, should we pass the index? Yeah, we can pass the index, which is 0, 1, 2. So index, and then what else do we pass? We pass the index, the one that is true. So initially nothing is true. So we're just gonna have this little function. It does X, Y, Z. Let's see what we do here first. We're gonna say is parent is equal to its interface is equal to dollar its parent is equal to its interface is equal to its street, and they are all equal to false. Then we're gonna put them in an array. So let's say 6, and then we just put all of them in here. It's parents. However, I don't think okay. If we put them here, that means we have to keep a reference of them. We have to put a reference of them in here. Or yeah, because this array is gonna be it's gonna have new values. So let's put a reference of them in there. Is street, is interface. This thing I'm not sure, I've not even tried it before, like putting a reference in an array, and I don't know if it even works. But yeah, so that when we change the value of states, it actually affects the real variables. So okay. I'm thinking again. we can't make the function to be too tied to the constant. So we can just leave that outside and let the function only handle changing states instead of so this function is an anonymous function. We have access to these three things. So I typically don't need to put them here. Technically, I can just leave them outside. And yeah, since, let me see. Yeah, this anonymous function have access to the things that are outside. I think that's true in PHP. So if it does, then yeah, that's all. We don't do anything. Then we just say states at index is equal to true. At the index is equal to true. Now I'm not quite sure, but for me, I like to mostly try things out. So I'm going to maybe have, if I can have PHP sandbox. I usually use PHP sandbox a lot. So let me see. X. I want a correct sandbox. Okay, so I think there is one here. Version 7.3.1. Okay, so I'm just going to add this to the stream so that you see what I do in the browser. This is going to be in yep, I think you can see it. I'll just hide it when I'm done. I'll hide it. So let me do that. So we created so say some two values like val is equal to val2 is equal to false, or just equal to something like Levi. And then we're going to create a function f is equal to an anonymous function that, and this thing doesn't pass any parameter, but they just say I'm going to create an array in here that have val, then have a reference to val2. Then after that, I'm going to maybe change something in the array. So array at 0 is equal to Swana, and then I'm going to call f, and after I do that, I'm just going to echo val1. F cannot be called like that. I'm not sure why it's giving that error, but let's see if it's gonna tell me that. Okay, the $f. So let me see. Put a colon. Good. So let's see. Levi. Okay. Go back. Which one did I print? I printed val, but val is still Levi. It didn't change. So that means this function actually didn't change the value of this val. So I don't know how can we, maybe there's a way to pass things by reference. So it's like passing array, okay, saving a real element in an array. So let's say saving references in array PHP. Array can store references by let's look at the documentation. Okay, but that's not what I want. I want to put something. Okay, not this one, not that one. I want the value of the array should be references. Okay, so probably let me see here 1, then we echo val2 and execute. Still Levi. So what I'll do, I'm going to I like outputting things. So let me echo r1 or probably just print array. So let me print array and let's see. 0 is empty. 1. Oh wow. Okay. Now probably this thing is not this end leave the thing empty, so it doesn't actually put the references in the array. Undefined variable val1 and val2. Okay, now something has just popped up. Actually, we had to pass this thing here. So let me see. And val and val2. Then let me see if now this one will work. If this one doesn't work, then too few arguments. Yeah, true. And then val2. So 0 is Levi, 1 is Zoana, and what did we print? We print out val. Okay, I want to print. I want to change this one. Let's see if that works. Good. It worked. So yeah, we actually changed the value. Okay, so now we have seen what we are supposed to do. So I can hide this one. And then we can look at this again. So after all, we were right. We were actually right. So I'm going to say I'm going to pass its parent again. Can you imagine? Or I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just copy this whole thing here. So since I did, yeah, that means we are going to change it properly. And maybe we can put a little, wait. Okay, wait. Yeah, let me test something. It's like something is not working. Let me try to give a description to a variable. Control Enter. Okay, now it's like I turn off something here. PHP what? PHP. PHP comment. how was this thing called? I had a comment stuff. Let me see. Control. Oh, it's still here. Control Z. It's still there, but then the one for the interface for the variable doesn't work. So I don't know what can I can. Let me install this again, and then maybe do if I okay. Seems like commenting. Where are the messages? Okay. I am still looking for that comment thing. I don't know how. What was the name? I know that. Okay, let me see. PHP doc. PHP. Let me see which one is that. I hope it won't conflict. Okay. So now I don't know. Let me see. This one, it doesn't give me format. Let me see. Format document. Let me see this one. Okay, so probably I have to write the comment myself. It's not a big deal though. We'll just leave it like that. And let me close that. So good, we have this inner function. I don't like under the code doesn't look readable. So since they are all in here, I don't have to do this. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to put them in there. Now do I write a loop? Yep. I'm not going to do this one. I'm just going to do a for each loop for each of them in there. So I'm going to say for each states as state, but we want to also have the index, so we say whether I implies state. So if we want to, we're just gonna say it's gonna be equal to false, but if it is the stuff state is equal to false. Now I have to keep an eye on something here. This for each is we have to use the reference to that thing. There's so many references in this other function, and I like keeping things clean, but I'll just leave it like that. So state is equal to false, but then if I is equivalent to the index that was passed, then state should be equal to true. And that's what we're gonna do for now. Okay, it's one of I don't know, too many reference passed. Let me see. Just a way to make it short. What if we pass a reference to the array itself such that the array is outside and the array has parent, trait, and that thing. It has a reference to them. Then we pass a reference to the array and then use the things in the array. Let's try that one. For me, I think that one is better than this one. So I'm going to pass this one as the argument here. I'm going to pass that array. States, but state is going to be an array. So let me just do that array. This one's going to be an int, and then we can loop outside here that states, for every state we are passing a reference. Yep, I think this one can work. That one is better than having that confusing code. So then we can save ourselves from this guy. So if we're just going to call set state leaves the states parameter and the index. If it is dash I is interface, that is 0, 1, 2. So it's the second element, the last element. And now we'll have to repeat this one. If there's any other way to make it shorter, we'll do that. But for now, it's just, so if it's dash PHP is the first, so it's going to be 0. And lastly, if it is this, it's going to be 0, 1, 2. Okay. Yep. Current val dash t is the second. And now let's arrange it. This is not 2, this one. T. So 0, 1, and so this is good. This is good. This is good. And if you look at this thing, it's case sensitive. So if you pass capital I, it's not gonna work. Okay. Now, even though we didn't manage to eliminate these 3, maybe we can put them in a. So we put them in a switch statement, so that we get rid of the if, So we're gonna switch that. We're gonna switch our current value. Then we do case ZAS constant dash p, and for me, I like to do it like this. We're breaking anything here. We just continue. We already know if you are in here, then you are one of us. Like you are one of the dashes. So after we have set things, we just go ahead to move on. And UE. And then finally we have this one. ZAS constants. This is dash I for interfaces, and we continue. But if it's not there, then do nothing, absolutely nothing. So dash P, I'm going to put that in there. And this is 1, so we're just going to put that here and then make this 1. And then we're going to make this 2. So, yep. We have eliminated the if statements. I don't know even if this is not longer than, if it is not longer, okay. I'm just going to put a comment here. Good. So we managed to set all of them good. Now they are all set. The next thing we want to look at is, now if we are on dash P, then we are setting the parent class. So this is what I'm doing. If someone say like if someone writes this command, someone writes PHP, let me say, someone writes PHP ZAS, let me say make class, and then they do the class name maybe new. This one will be automatically uppercased, so you just have to focus on the next. If they say new, probably let's call this when I say bread maker, yeah. So the person wants to focus on the second one because this one will be automatically uppercased. So bread maker, and then they do dash P. They say hey, that's the parent class for bread maker, and then they do another dash P, hey, or hey 2. This one here is going to be, this one is the hey 2 will be the one that stays, so it's going to override the current hey. So I'm not going to say you have defined multiple parent classes. If you define multiple parent classes, then we won't do anything. We'll just update the previous parent class. So with that said, I'm going to say set the parent class. So if it's parent, if it's parent, you want to do this. This is like state stuff, which is another which is like another switch statement. So you want to switch through case parent, you do XYZ, case that you do, and case straight you do something, and at the end of it all you want to make the class. So should I do if it's parent, or should I do switch through, so that we can just switch is parent. Which one will be the best? Which one is more readable? Switch or, I'm still thinking. Okay, I don't know if anyone is here. Okay. Okay, let me see. Good. Okay. is parent, or probably, let me let me even put that in. I'm going to do, I'm going to look at, let's see, which one is clean? If or switch, if or switch. Okay, I'll just go with the switch, because if 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 it's parent, if it's this, if it's that, for the if, you have to evaluate every if statement. If for the switch, you will only evaluate until we meet the true one. But yeah, it's just a little time saving here. It's not very complex. It's not something of a very big improvement, but every little speed we can add, we will add it. Okay. So let me do that. Let me do that. Let me. So I'm not going to use the is parent, since I don't want to evaluate every single switch statement. Not switch, every single bool, like if statement. So we are going to do another switch here. This time we are just switching through, and then we can case. So if you are thinking this is where I put my constants, and there's the same convention like this current ZAS tool will propose to you that you have your supporters, but you are free to put what you want to put in your supporters. So for this current one, it has classes, it has interfaces, it has traits and constants. So constants, I wanted to use enumeration, but enumeration is supported by PHP 8. So I just decided to use another class that has a private constructor. So that means you cannot create an object of it, and then that class has the different constants. So they are in this folder called constants. So in case you can see here in constants, and then like everything has namespaces. So this one is in the ZAS namespace, and you can see the ZAS constants. And also look at my naming convention. Everything is in lowercase. There is no camel case here. And this one follows the convention that was specified in the ZAS config for the constants. So that's it. Let me continue. Let me continue. I hate to see things being read, but I don't know where that error is coming from in my system. I don't know if it is the PHP that I'm using, but I will fix that. I'll fix that. So case as constant. No, we are not switching as constant. I'm sorry. We are switching is parent is straight. Yeah. We are switching is parent. So if parent is true, we do X, Y, Z and break. Case is interface. We are also going to break at that point. And case at any point in time it will be one of these, or if you have some, it will always be one of these, although they can be false by default. But then if you have any other thing after the name, then it will be one of these. And so since it's going to be 0, 1, 2, let's just say it's straight. So we have a straight. Let's just maintain. Let's maintain the 0, 1, 2 thing. and its interface. Good. Now we have all of these ready to go. We have our parent. So if it is parent, then the current argument will be our parent. So we are going to say parent class is equal to this other argument, which now would be hey, for the example I gave. So it's going to be arg value at I. I'm looping with I, right? Yeah. So that's all parent class does. Now for trait, we only push that in the trait. We push this into the trait. But then we are going to do some things here. So like probably before we push it into the trait, we have to check if the trait exists. If it doesn't exist, these are to do's. So what I'll do, I'll just put a to do here. To do, check if trait exists. If not, create it. And we'll do the same thing for the interfaces. So we're gonna say interfaces. Now there is something we also have to look at. We might not insert the trait directly into. Should we just because I'm looking at the namespace. So let's say if you don't give us namespace, then we take things from the root. Or we should just allow people to use the same namespace as the class. No. Which one will be shorter? If we allow them to use the same namespace as the class, so you can have just if they will whosoever will use this thing will have to put the namespace of I'm not ready to do that change. It's gonna be a lot of changes if I go back. So let me just leave it like that. And yeah, I'm not gonna put any change there. Okay. So this code is on GitHub. I didn't put the stuff on. I'll put it there so you can contribute if you want. I try my best to comment as much as I can. So you can contribute. I want to let me try to get the link. Let's see. Okay, so I'm trying to get the link. Then maybe I can update the description with it. But in the meantime, I want to do one or two things quickly. So yeah, I'm still giving this thing a thought, because if you don't give us a namespace, the current system will take the namespace from the root. Okay, okay, good. Let me just find that thing. Give me a minute. Yep, here we go. So I'm going to put that in the description. Yeah, that is it. So probably you can contribute from there if you want. Okay, good. The same thing goes for interfaces. We are going to check if good. With this, we have updated everything, and we came to the end of the loop. The loop is done. Then we can call the make class, because we already have everything is set. We have the name, everything, so we can say this. We can do log. I want us to log. Maybe if we have the file name, we just log it here, and this will be make class. So okay, now the class name is container name, right? Not class, it could be okay. Yeah, this one's class, so it's gonna be the container name. Then the parent class name. And we want the interfaces, and also we want the traits. And yeah, this is how this is gonna work. So log takes in a string of text. Make class does what? It returns a string. So why are we having an error? Oh yeah, to remove this one. Okay, good. So we've managed to okay, implement this make class thing. So let's try to run it and see if it works. For now, we are working with the ZAS.php, so it's not going to be in the the ZAS itself. It's going to be ZAS.php. So ZAS.php make. Let's see what to get. Okay, good. There's a warning here. Oh, so by the way, let me just tell you something quickly. I made the autoloader class, so this autoloader will include things that are, mainly based on what is in the configuration. So if you maybe clone this thing, you can look at the autoloader, and the complexity is close to a constant time. Because we already know, except that, and also if you have the vendor. So if if you have your vendor folder here, maybe if you are using other packages, this autoloader, don't worry about it. It will include the vendor autoload by default. Then also will register itself to load other things. And you can see here we loaded the ZAS helper. Yeah, we loaded the ZAS helper. So continuum targeting switch is equivalent to break. Did you mean to use continuum 2? Let me see. Oh, what does continuum 2 do? I didn't know this one. So if you are in a loop, let me see. Continuum 2. Wow. Okay. Hey, let's learn something new here. So I'm going to add this browser window so we can learn something new. Yep, let's learn something new. Okay. Continuum works there. Continuum 3. Okay. Continuum accepts an optional numeric argument which tells it how many levels of enclosing loop it should skip to the end. The default value is 1. So skipping to the end of the current loop. Oh, now I've learned something new. So we are going to be using continuum 2. Let me come to the OBS, and let's remove the browser window. And yeah, we're gonna be continuing 2. Good. I didn't know about this. So okay, we are having some errors though, but we are going to fix them. Class ZAS